All right, welcome everybody to Stammer AI Agency Office Hours. Today's going to be a interesting type of meeting because we don't have too much new updates this week. So instead, I'm going to be showing more of a overview on the existing platform and just generally review some of the items that you may be familiar with or maybe you've missed them in the past. So this is definitely going to be a good video to review whether or not you're watching on YouTube or in our Discord or Slack channels. Of course, I like to shout out our support options. Like always, if you go to Stammer AI/support, you can see all of our support options and documentation, how to submit a support ticket and all that, as well as be able to join our office hour calls like this, as well as our daily support call where we help people out with any issues or questions that they might have on a daily basis, Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. PST. Of course, we also have our roadmap, roadmap.stammer.ai. This has all of our public roadmap items as well as our public change log. So this is where you can see all of our latest updates. And if you go inside of the Stammer AI platform, you'll also be able to find all this information in the top right-hand corner under the rocket icon. If you click that, this will open up the change log. This is an agency only viewable feature. There's a couple other things that I'm going to mention today that are only agency viewable. And basically, what that means is anybody in your sub accounts or your clients will not be able to see these resources. Only the information, this is only information that will be available to you as an agency. So as we get started here, the first thing that we're going to kind of generally review is the dashboard and everything else that is related to this dashboard and how this can be set up so that way you can start managing your AI agency. And this is going to be like kind of the main first thing that everyone sees when you first get started. There's a few different things in here to keep note of and just kind of organize yourself and how things are placed on screen. Left-hand side, we have the main master menu. Obviously, we have the main dashboard in the center, and then the top right, you have some icons and options to show you, again, the change log, our support options, and then your account information. And all of this stuff is going to be agency only, viewable only to agency owners. Again, anybody in your sub account will not be able to see that information. Welcome, Katim, welcome. So in the main dashboard, you have quick start guide, documentation, product roadmap, all that great stuff. And then you have the main section, which is going to be your analytics. Now, this is going to show you all of the analytics across your entire account, all of your sub accounts and all of the AI agents. If you want to filter by different sub accounts or different agents, you can go in and select the different options here, as well as being able to select different AI agents. So that way you can see the statistics of individual agents without having to necessarily go into an individual AI agent and click on the analytics view from there. So in this left-hand menu, I'll just shout out a few different things. At the bottom, we have our support options, and we're going to be updating that to also include all of these as well. So in the future, you'll be able to see all of these support options. And again, that's only for agency owners. Up at the top, we've got our AI agents section, which is where you can build and manage your AI agents. Now we use like a dual system here. We can create and build AI agents inside of our agency dashboard here. And then we can either clone those into a sub account, or if we want to go into a sub account, we can build AI agents in there as well. Now, what is a sub account? Sub accounts are basically how you are going to manage your clients. So anytime you have a new client that signs up with the platform or purchases one of your subscription products, a new sub account will be created. And this helps organize everything to where individual clients have their own sub accounts and their own AI agents within those sub accounts. And you can manage this in many different ways. You can do it manually, or you can also set it up so it's automatically created when someone purchases a subscription. Now, then the question becomes like, how do we create a subscription, a subscription? So under the agency tab here, the agency tab is basically where all of your white label features are. And if you go through these one by one, you'll be able to see how you can customize the platform for your own agency, whether it's adding information about your profile, setting up your custom domain, connecting your Stripe account, and then eventually being able to create your own subscription products once your Stripe account has been connected. So once you connect your custom domain and set up some of the information in your profile, as well as the custom styling, which allows you to change the colors and the different items that people would see, the platform will look quite different depending on how you're setting all of that stuff up. So this is just an example version of the white labeled account here. And if I was to go into the agency tab here, I could then go into the SaaS configurator, and the SaaS configurator is where you create your subscription plans, and this is what you are selling to your clients. Now, most agencies will have a lot of different options to sell different packages based off of the different features or functionality or the quantity of the functionality that they want to provide. And this is all up to you. There are some agencies that are selling this for a couple $100 a month, and then there's other agencies that are selling this for a few $1,000s a month, up and just up from there. So it really kind of depends on how you're structuring and who you are selling to. But creating a package allows you to customize basically every piece of this subscription package. So you can set up the amount of AI agents and the amount of storage. The amount of storage basically dictates the amount of information that can be uploaded to a knowledge base of an AI agent. That allows the AI agent to know a bunch of information about how a business will work and helps it customize the responses when someone has a question about that type of business. In the pricing tab, you can set up a bunch of different options for pricing, whether you want to charge a upfront one-time payment fee, or if you want to set up a recurring payment, that could be a monthly or a yearly or quarterly, depending on however you want to set up your subscriptions. You can also include and set up the different types of features. This will be kind of the permissions and everything that is set up for your users. So this is all going to be dependent on how you want to set up your subscription products. And then you have the ability to set up a trial, which allows you to control if you want your users to be able to immediately access the platform
11, 10. Sorry.
with a trial or not, basically. And so this is quite powerful because it also allows you to provide access to a sub account for a user before they start paying, which allows them to see kind of the general functionality of these agents and what they can do for their business. And then finally, the rebilling section. This is going to allow you to set up a profit margin per response for each message that is being sent. And so typically, what we'll see is people will add a couple cents, and so they'll profit a couple different cents from each message response from each of their AI agents in each sub account. And this is all subscription. This is all going to be based on each individual subscription. So if you want to sell a subscription that is lower cost, that has lower, cost per message, you can create a package for that called Basic, for example, and then you could create a higher tier package that has different pricing based off of how you want to structure your pricing plans. And this is very, very typical of a SaaS product where you're controlling, the costs of how people are spending through usage, as well as being able to position, hey, if you purchase this higher tier plan, it costs you less per message and things like that. Also, inside of the subscription packages here, we have the ability to set up a non-credit card required free trial. So this is a separate feature that will allow users to sign up and create an account without having to enter in their credit card. Now, this is definitely an option that you can utilize. However, we typically will recommend people to use the free trial settings inside of a subscription plan, which then sets it up so that way you're collecting a credit card, and that will typically help qualify users quickly to make sure that they're going to be a good client. The final thing I want to mention in the SaaS configurator here is the add-ons section. So we also offer the ability to upsell different pieces of the application, which could be things like additional AI agents or additional storage. So, for example, if one of your clients purchases a subscription package that only includes one AI agent, but they want to purchase another one without having to upgrade to a higher tier plan, you have the option and the ability to control how much that they would pay for those additional AI agents. And if your subscription plan that you are paying Stammer for has hundreds of AI agents, then that will just be deducted from your balance of AI agents up here, and they will get that, and you will get paid an extra $20 per month in this example. So again, in under the agency tab, this is going to give you a lot of your white label settings, the ability to add your own API keys for things like OpenAI, Claude, and Grok from xAI, as well as being able to set up a couple other things like your default prompts and managing your users and user permissions across your agency level account. The other quick option here in the menu here is called account, and this is kind of all like the typical stuff that you would see from a software platform that you're paying for, where you can manage your profile, update your password, see the subscription, and as well as your billing and usage. This is all available very easily for you to manage and set limits and things like that. A couple other things I want to mention in here, and then we can go into some general Q&A, is white label API. Now, once you set up your custom domain, this white label API allows you to connect your version of Stammer to any third-party platform. And all of the endpoints and links will be fully white labeled for you to connect with anything. And this could be something like a CRM or an automation platform like Make or NAN, things like that. Um, this is all customized. So once you set up your custom domain, that will all change to your domain. Marketplace is where you can create AI agents and then offer them to your sub accounts, whether that's for free or for a added fee. Again, you can control that as you see fit. And then finally is MasterChat. And MasterChat is one of our newest large features that we've released, which is a chat GPT style like interface, as you can see here, that allows your users to chat with AI agents inside of this type of interface. And this is typically used for more internal use cases. So there's kind of two ways to think about how you could sell AI agents or deploy them to a business. The first is going to be typically where an AI could be embedded on a website or sat behind a chat conversation channel like Instagram DMs or Facebook Messenger, things like that. And then the alternative could be setting up a version of that AI agent inside of MasterChat. And that would allow people to chat with it as an internal team member or an employee, things like that, which will be very helpful for, again, internal use cases. So a lot of the use cases that we've seen or heard from other agencies have been things like, oh, the AI chat widget on the website is great, but my sales team is also interested in utilizing this. How can they use it? Well, we can set that up so that where they are using MasterChat and they can add in, templated emails or questions from users that they're getting, and then they could get a response inside of MasterChat. We use this quite often as well for when someone submits a support ticket and we want to be able to quickly find all of our documentation links that will help answer that question and then format it into an email. And then we can simply review that email and then send that off as a response to a client. So this is quite useful for many different use cases. Some other people have been using it for some crazy stuff, like we were making some templates a little while ago for things like creating Instagram captions, doing things more like one-on-one, where it's like coaches or even a Riz GPT or AI best friend. So there's a lot of different examples or use cases, but most of these were utilized within the MasterChat interface. which has been quite interesting to see how some agencies are starting to build these AI agents out. So for everyone just joined, today was more of just a general review of the entire platform. Been having some questions from some certain sales meetings over the last few days, and just kind of wanted to do a general overview of most of the basic parts of the platform. There's not any real new functionality that we released this week, so we'll keep everyone updated when that is coming. Uh, as for any other updates, we are currently wrapping up our voice module. We are in the process of testing that in the back end ourselves. So that should be out and available for everyone for inbound use cases within, I would say, the next week or 2 weeks. Super excited to get your guys' feedback on that. If you're interested in being a beta tester for that, please let us know and we can get you added to that and get some early feedback on that. Tim or Drew, do you guys have anything you guys want to mention today?
No, no, the voice thing was going to be the only thing I'd mentioned, but you just mentioned that. And yeah, if anybody wants to be an early beta tester, I mean, obviously we're targeting people that have, actual customers, a real solid use case that they want to pursue with their customers. So yeah, reach out to us.
Yeah. And a good example of that type of use case could be the ones that we've mentioned in the past, like a contractor who's getting inbound calls and they're at a job site, so they're not always able to answer the call, or even if they could answer the call, there's going to be like a jackhammer in the background, so they couldn't they wouldn't be able to answer. So this AI agent would be able to take over those phone calls, be able to ask the right questions to the user and gather that information, send all that information back to the contractor's CRM, at which point they could get there could be a further automation to send them information that says, hey, here's a summary of the phone call that we just had. This is a person that is looking for, building a new barbecue in their backyard or, whatever it may be. Or like a dentist office where they, somebody is checking, the person at the front desk is checking somebody in and the phone starts ringing. If they can't pick up the phone right away, then the AI agent could take over and do something very similar. Again, we're going to be starting out with our inbound examples and use cases, but then we will quickly come out with our outbound side of the AI voice agents, which would then allow to do things like following up with leads, sending call reminders for meetings and things like that. And the one thing I do want to reiterate is that it will not be available for cold calling. Cold calling is quite illegal with these types of AI services, and that will definitely not be allowed. So there's going to be some opt-ins and things that will basically make everyone fully compliant and make sure no one gets in trouble. It says, what email sequence do we have for clients that sign up for a free trial or a purchase? So inside of your account here, under agency and profile, you have the ability to set up these notifications, whether you get a new user or a new subscriber. Typically, what people will do is they will send this as a sequence into their CRM, and then the CRM that they have can kick off a further sequence of emails that are more designed and customized and things. Like we don't have a full builder sequence inside the platform here. It's all pretty generic, but you can use a webhook or kick it off with an email, and then that will allow your CRM to do that further automation. Steve says, voice is high priority for us. We welcome the beta test opportunity. Awesome. Definitely looking forward to getting that out to you guys. We will definitely let you know. And soon, I know you've been waiting for it as well. Yeah,
And also one other thing for the beta testing, we are targeting US based use cases.
yeah. Which I think both of you guys are US.
US and Canada.
Yeah, yeah. That being said, in the long term, in the long run, as long as Twilio basically accepts a international phone number, we should be able to set the system up within that within that country or use case. And of course, all of the AI voice agents will be able to speak in pretty much every language. Of course, English will be the main example and use case that we will use for most things, but it's quite easy for it to transition over to other languages, especially if it's a very common language, like Spanish, for example, is one of the ones that we've also been testing quite a lot. Perfect. We also have, yep, Twilio and can focus on USA and English. Perfect. Wanted to create a waiting list landing page, but do not know what date to include. So Kasoon, I would recommend doing something similar to what we have for our wait list, where it's just a general thing, and then that way you're not worried about coming up against any dates or anything, but you're still collecting leads and people that are interesting. Yeah, like Drew said, coming soon. We want to, and this is why we kind of did it this way as well. We didn't want to promise something and then not be able to deliver on a date. When we when we do have things that we promise for on dates is when it's already completed and done. And we know that we could release it basically at any moment, but we choose to have that kind of uplift in our marketing, knowing that everything is already done and ready for release. And because we're still in the final testing phases, we don't have that date yet, but and that's kind of just a thing in general. Yeah. Dates, yeah, I agree. Dates usually create an excitement. And definitely you can definitely do that after it's essentially already released.
Or set a launch date. I mean, you can set one so far in the future, I guess, but yeah, some things are never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Or just push it back, like I've seen other platforms do. I've literally seen people have a set launch date and then they, for whatever reason, can't meet it and they just push it back.
Like GTA 6.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that did get a lot of hype when they released that trailer, and then they pushed it back, and it got even more hype because people were like, "Oh my gosh, now it's pushed back." But I would
yeah,
I
a
would
ton
still
of
recommend
free
just
marketing.
yeah yeah I would still recommend just yeah putting like a general coming soon wait list, and then that way you're gathering information, but you're not promising something that is not there. Trying to step in my Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Aren't we
yeah.
all? Aren't we all?
Well, he shows though that there are limits to that strategy. That is for sure because he's literally become to promise and underdeliver.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions from today?
Wait, just a quick one, gang. In
Hey,
terms of the beta, what should I expect in terms of follow up or communication?
we'll be sending out an email, and then we also are going to be releasing like it's going to be called like the beta features section inside of the platform. And so it will be shown into your agency view, and it will allow you to enable or disable these new features that we release. And so when that's available, you'll be able to see it inside of your dashboard, and then we'll basically be able to enable it for you when that's released.
Okay. And in terms of, we already have Twilio connected and operational in other contexts. Is there anything besides Twilio that's a prerequisite?
No, so the goal for us is to be able to allow you to connect your existing Twilio account or be able to purchase phone numbers through our platform, which are then purchased from Twilio. It'll be way cheaper if you purchase them directly from Twilio and connect your Twilio account. And other than that, everything will kind of just seamlessly work, and all the functionality will exist on the white label side of your platform.
All right. Thank you. Giddy up.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.